Boom, boom, boom. Manchester United demolish Arsenal today. Liverpool continue to drop points. What is going on with Liverpool? And VAR and the referees in the UK just continue to fail, continue to mash up the whole scene. We're going to be talking about all of it in the rewind. I am President Chad, and you are looking at the United Hour EPL Rewind. In the house with me is the man Dr. Zeus and Devin. Gentlemen, happy Sunday evening to both of you all. Dr. Zeus, really good program last. When was the program? Monday?
Tuesday, Monday.
Friday.
Week past.
Friday evening. Really good program. Friday. Good afternoon to Martin Phillip on the inside. Early o'clock.
Ever present.
Of course, as always, yes.
Now, even though the games started, we're gonna start off the show talking about the last game, which is Manchester United versus Arsenal. The banner says Manchester United stops Arsenal win streak again. For people who don't know, let me just share a little bit of history with you all. When Arsenal was going on their invincible win streak, 49 games unbeaten, it was Manchester United that played Arsenal and shut that down. You understand? Ended that, beat them way back when Arsenal was a force in the Premier League. And right now, they was trying to be a force again, but we had to smack them back into place. So, gentlemen, what Dr. Zuso, you thought about the game today?
Honestly, I wasn't expecting this United this early with Ten Hag.
But you predicted a win on
the 3-1
Friday.
Yeah, predicted the 3-1, but it's not just the scoreline, it's the manner which the scoreline came about. I mean, first start, first game, first goal, first win for Anthony, came in and just sublime, get your feet wet, but once he got into his rhythm, you saw that he brings exactly what people have been looking at in Ajax for the longest while, that confidence, that flair. And the CCC is what I saw at United today. They looked coached, confident, and they was oozing with class. They're not the final product, but they can see that maybe Arsenal were jittery. Rashford getting back into form, which is always something exciting to see. Jadon Sancho giving trouble. So imagine you have Anthony on the right, Sancho on the left. You have Eriksen and Fernandes in the middle doing what they want, and behind them you have Casemiro. So once they have those players, and then either Cristiano or Rashford on top, and then you have Varane and Martinez in the back, whomever on the left or right. I don't think that the two games that they lost in the beginning of the season seem so far away now. And I'm not even a Manchester United fan, but it seems a totally distant and totally different gameplay. And although Arsenal scored and it looked as though game on, they just didn't have it in them, and Arsenal proved to be Arsenal once again. They just do what they had accustomed to it, failing when it matters.
Devin, a bit when Manchester United came out in the second half, right? They went in 1-0 up and they came out in the second half. And for like the first 10-15 minutes, Arsenal completely dominated possession, dominated the ball.
Definitely. Yes.
Do you think, that Ten Hag was playing the rope-a-dope? For people who don't know what the rope-a-dope is, it was made popular by Muhammad Ali, where he would lean back on the ropes and allow the opposition to punch him and punch him and punch him. But he's not taking any damage, he's bobbing his head, he's not really taking damage. And then when the person gets tired, he would come out in the later rounds and start doing his thing and win the game. Do you think that Manchester United intentionally kind of set back and took pressure because they really weren't trying to get up out of the field? And the last two goals that they scored were excellent counter-attacking goals. Do you think that was part of Ten Hag's strategy, or is just how the game went?
No, I think that we're looking too much into that. I think it was Arsenal really trying to give their all. And I think it was kind of like, all right, we're doing this right now. It kind of reminded me of a chess match where it's like, all right, they're doing this right now. How do I respond? Okay, we came out strong. They made their changes at halftime. They said what they're going to do, and they implemented well. Ten Hag adjusted mid game and did what he had to do. So no, I don't think it was that. I just think it was just good management from Ten Hag's point.
But yeah,
Um,
yeah.
guys, looking forward, I heard that what's his name, the former defender for Manchester United, Ferdinand. I heard Ferdinand made a big proclamation on Sky Sports or whichever one of the networks he does be on, that Manchester United is back. I
Yeah,
am not prepared.
that's a curse. That is a curse.
I'm not prepared to
I don't
go.
want to hear it. I will ignore it, and I'll pretend like I
Yeah,
never heard it. That is a curse.
I
No,
mean, four wins,
I'm not
four wins,
prepared to go that far. But
four wins on
do
four wins
you
on the
all
road
think,
in a row would give
based
you that kind of confidence. Yeah, it would. It
do
would.
you all think based on the last few games that people should start to be concerned about this Manchester United team?
Hmm.
yes, I have to say yes right now because after the Liverpool match, my thought process was that was a weakened Liverpool side. Let's find out who our next big game is right now, and it'll be Arsenal. Arsenal was unbeaten to this point. In my opinion, this Arsenal side was it was only missing one key player out of their starting 11. That was Thomas Partey. Everybody else was there, and they stepped up and did well. So now it comes down to okay, you start taking them legit, yes, and you can even go for as far as now as to October 2nd when we play in the derby, and you start
Yeah.
thinking, okay, what's it gonna take for people to start saying this team is legit? Do they have to beat City as well on the derby day? However, if I were Pep Guardiola, right now, I'd be saying this team is actually legit.
Yeah, and I will agree with you. Dan. That's exactly what I was talking about Friday when I said United is a United team. They are a giant. They're sleeping. They was down for a while. They wounded. So now they're getting up now, and whoever close to them, they roll in. So whoever they roll on, that's their business to deal with. Not United. And I said they're not the final. They're not the finished product, but you're seeing where the direction that Ten Hag is going at. And
Correct.
if they keep it up here, I mean, look, they lost their first to those bottom. Now they're in what fifth place right now. So I mean, that is in 4 games you see where it is that Ten Hag getting where he wants the players to play the kind of ball, the fluid movement. They let Arsenal do what they have to do, and the 2 goals they get them on the counter attack. They want to leave exposed, no problem. And as I say, Pep now have to watch now. Before without playing them earlier, just be like, all right, cool, just do our job. But now you're seeing the blueprint coming onto the field now. You see where the drills coming into formation now, where everything coming in, flowing in. And this is where now that this is why we like the Premier League now. This here now is what we want to see. We want to see the only banter with United is off. Now we've beaten them. We beat them now. You're beating them out there on the climb up, not on the way down. We beat them on the climb up. And as I say, as United fan, there's nothing wrong with being confident in your side and boastful, but it still have some things to iron out. And Arsenal, they tried, but they can't. They I don't think they could.
And that it's funny you say that because people were talking about this Arsenal side unbeaten. And also said they had not played anybody yet. And I said, whoever wins this game, we will find out who is truly legitimate beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
Yes,
know,
so
yeah, yeah,
I have to say right now that I believe this United side is truly legitimate. With that being said, you cannot rest on your laurels. You cannot get complacent because now the secret is out.
yeah,
We're kind of going under the radar before, but now teams like, oh, wow, United's coming back. We
yeah.
can't, we can't just go ahead and just go in there and think we're gonna do whatever we want now.
I
We actually
wanna
have to step up and do this now.
I wanna
Definitely.
I wanna talk about Arsenal for a little bit. Um, yeah, everybody was like, well, Arsenal have an easy start. They didn't really play anybody yet. But to me, what was most impressive about Arsenal was the way they were beating teams. They
Yeah,
were playing, with a real identity. They were playing with a real, flair. When they concede, there was a stat
Mm-hmm.
before the game today that every time when Arsenal concede, they would score to take back the lead, or to level the game, within 8 minutes. You
Yeah.
understand, of conceding. So when you score on Arsenal, they're always coming back and scoring on you. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And
Hmm.
and that so yes, they didn't really play anybody big, but they were genuinely looking like a team that could threaten.
And I think Ten Hag,
How do you feel about Arsenal now,
no, well,
Dr.
I,
Zeus, look after this game?
I think Ten Hag was anticipating that. When you score, just wait. When they score, eventually they would score. So just wait. Let them get the ball. Let them get the ball. Arsenal, as I say, yeah, they didn't play people of worth in the top six caliber. Not disrespect to the other teams, but the top six, we talking about the big guns who run in, and so they got their points. Now where it was needed, where they had the show there, where their worth, it again shows that what Arsenal fans were speaking about. Yes, they're looking good, but they're not the final product as yet. You still need some ironing out, some nooks and crannies to be shaped up. But Arteta himself admitted after the game they had chances, they had possession, that they didn't do anything with it. And as well as sorry, the pundits, when after the game, I was listening to them, they all say the same thing that I was noticing after. Arteta made three subs, taking off Odegaard was one of them. And as he made the three subs, Arsenal got more exposed through the center and through the middle. And that was when you see the game just got out of hand from them. And Arteta learned a lot from Pep. And like he also took the overthinking part from him. You had a good thing going. You had a good thing going. Team was flowing good. Even if you had lost 2-1 or you scored and it was 3-2, no problem. But the way how the game finished, the last like 30, 35, let's say 30 minutes, it did not look as though Arteta wanted to get something out, try to get something out of the game. It's just like he just like, you know what, let's let's try and stop the leaks. And Britain trying to stop the leaks, he just made a bigger hole and just ended up where it ended up. I don't I don't see it a problem per se with Arsenal, but Arteta needs to stop the overthinking part. Do what works and work whatever's working gonna do it for you. That's what you gotta do.
So to me, it just seemed like this was their first real test at adversity, and they did not succeed. But this is not the finished product with Arsenal yet. So I am not writing off this Arsenal team as of yet. It happens. You get your first real taste of adversity. You go back to the drawing board and you figure out, okay, this happened. We didn't do this right. We sit there, we adapt to it,
Mhm.
we move on, and we do not let it happen again. And this team is young.
You see
So
what you say
where
there about adversity, a taste of adversity. I am very interested. Arsenal next game I think is against Fulham. No, not Fulham, but I will touch on it. But the next game is not against any big team necessarily. But I'm very interested to see how these young players at Arsenal respond. Right, you all were riding high, still on top of the league, but
Mhm.
now that you got punched in your mouth, how are you going to respond? Because let's see the real leaders on this Arsenal team step up, and I think that's going to be an important thing.
Yeah,
Finish
yeah.
it. Go ahead, then.
Yeah, so I it's I think that Odegaard will actually step up and give him the chance. And this may be something that Arsenal fans are not going to like me for, but Arteta is not the one that's going to lead them to success. It's going to be Patrick Vieira. So it's going to take probably a couple seasons now for it to happen. But I could see Vieira being the one that's going to lead them to doing great things with it because you can already see what he's doing with the Palace side.
Yeah,
And you bring him back
definitely.
to the side that he's known for, and he comes back there as well. Yeah,
Hmm.
watch that.
Yeah,
And
it-
it truly scares me as a United fan to admit this.
Arsenal, to me, losing was is the best thing that happened to them. So now that they know how to deal, how Arteta will learn how to shift during games, not just at halftime or the water break. make little subtle shifts during the game. As Mr. Nigel Manu now said there, now said there, um, maybe Arsenal looked at Manchester's side without worth, and that may have been so if they were facing them after the second victory in a row, but three victories in a row as a side like Manchester United, who started off as the laughing stock of the English league. They have a point to prove against Arsenal. They have a very good record against Arsenal. I think like they have one loss in the last 12 games or something, and like a 1-0 loss.
14 in the last 14 games at
Right.
home, you only have one loss. At
Right. So
home,
it's
right?
at home.
Specifically
Yeah,
at
at
Old
home.
Trafford.
So going to Old Trafford as Arsenal player, and Arteta has this in the back of his mind. You saw that, and to say Arsenal fall off is harsh, but to say that they won't bounce back from this, they would bounce back from this. It's just a matter of getting back on the horse and riding. And if this defeat knocks them back down to wherever, then they didn't have it in the first place to be up where they are.
So let me just ask this, because Martin Phillip made a comment about who in the Arsenal dressing room, which player on the pitch would have been able to tell this team, come on guys, we could do it. Speaking to leadership.
Hmm.
And that is one of the things that I was talking about. When you think about Arsenal leaders, you think about Zaka. You
Yeah,
think
it was very good.
about and he's one of the youngest players on the team.
Mm-hmm.
Who do they have that have done it? Who have they brought that could say, yeah, well, I know what it is to win a championship. I don't know if Partey won anything with Atletico.
No, well, he I think he won La Liga. I think that's it.
I think, yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I think when they won La Liga, Partey would have
Mhm.
been on that team. But in terms of leadership, I think that is probably where Arsenal is lacking. And
Correct.
Arteta being the manager, knowing what it is to win with the team, he is the man that's going to have to lift them up, because I don't think they have players on the team to
So I
elevate
mean,
them.
he in fairness to Arteta, he did get a lot of things right, like getting rid of players who were only there for ego. Aubameyang, I'm looking at you. Um, and it almost reminds me of what Ole kind of did,
Mm.
where it's like you get the sense of camaraderie, but you're playing pretty much almost the same team all the time, rotating the side and whatnot. But I need to see more ruthlessness from Arteta, which is why I keep on saying, like, even though yes, he has the pep mentorship and all that from his time at City, I still think the man to lead Arsenal to big success is going to be Patrick Vieira.
Yeah, because he definitely doing a great job, as I said, by with Palace. He's doing a wonderful job.
Yes,
They,
he has been,
but
and again, as a United fan, you know Vieira is going to come in there wanting to win that game,
yeah,
especially at Selhurst Park in front of all his fans. You know Vieira is going to be ready to go and run riot in this game.
yeah, definitely. That was it. And to credit to what Chad was saying there, there's nobody in the team that could really step up to the mantle and say, I've been here before. This is what we have to do. This the X, Y, and Z. Yeah, they have won the FA Cup, but cup games, the league games are two different mentalities to come with. This is not a neutral stadium. This is at Old Trafford. Who on that side has beaten Manchester United or come back and beaten United at Old Trafford? Nobody's there. So maybe that's the bad side of having a young team, a team this young. But hopefully they take this lesson and transfer it to other tests to come
But
the going forward.
and that's the whole thing. This is a young side, so this is not the finished product. And so this is kind of like well, you got all the hype about you before. You were winning games. You lost a game now. I think right now, this time period right now matters more than any other time. How do you respond to it? We will find out the true Arsenal coming up very soon, the next couple games.
Just 1 minute there.
All right, let me just read out this message from Nigel, and then we're gonna move on. Arsenal played extremely well, but they were on their high horses for too long. Now they know they have to up their game, because other teams will be watching this game and use similar tactics to beat them. Well, not everybody in the Premier League have runners that they could necessarily play effective counter-attacking football, but most definitely they would try, without a doubt. We caught them on the rebound. Other teams will watch what United did and figure out a way to um to sit us down. And Ten Hag is awaiting that moment to switch up on them. Well, according to all of you guys, both of these teams are in the ascendancy. Yes, Arsenal lost today, but they're still top of the league. They are in the
Mhm.
ascendancy. Manchester United started off with 2 losses. They're in the ascendancy. So let's see how far up they can go and how things will end up as far as the final league position goes. I want to talk a little bit about the Brentford game. Brentford played Leeds United and they won 5-2. Ivan Tony had a hat trick. He
Yes, he
scored
did.
one from the penalty spot. He scored an excellent free kick, and then he scored a ball from outside of the box. The goalkeeper coming out, misjudging the ball, was outside. It had defenders in the box, so he did have to place his shot perfectly, and he did the business. So ultimately, Brentford continuing their good form.
Yeah, the man say as he pop up post and say thank you for all who take me on the fantasy team. I just like
Well, he
wow,
was on my
this
fantasy
guy.
team.
Yes, and mine as well. So yes, I am very happy for those
Uh,
boys.
I enjoyed that 14 points. You
it was
understand?
it was excellent game, but since Bees has been back up in the league, Tony has been one of their standout players. I'm surprised
And
he's remained with them though.
but
Very
and
surprised.
I loved the thing about that free kick where it's like he did not even need that much of a run up and place it perfectly.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And the
Yes.
guy, the guy is ridiculous. I'm so again, I'm just surprised that Bees have been able to keep him still after everything that they have done and they have accomplished. So we'll see. We see
Hmm.
if he remains for next season.
Yeah, Thomas Frank is definitely got a challenge on that one too, because
Hmm.
people are taking notice. So we shall see.
That's the problem. When your rivals start to take notice, you want to do good, but not just good enough. Just good enough. Keep your eyes off with striker.
I
You
mean,
know,
quality is quality, eh? And
well,
and 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 Tony, Ivan Tony is definitely quality. And
definitely.
so we'll see what if Brentford are able to keep him going forward in the long run. Another game we want to touch on: Nottingham Forest playing Bournemouth. These are two teams that came up um from the championship. Nottingham Forest losing at home to Bournemouth 2-3. Um, it was a game that had a little bit of everything. Former Liverpool player Solanke with a nice overhead kick, but really and truly, this is one of those games where you ask yourself which one of these two teams are going to stay up, or which one of those teams going to go down. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I still have one more to go long though, but
Yeah,
first,
even though Bournemouth won
No,
away.
I feel Forrest is repeating what QPR did back in the day.
oh, oh, oh,
So, and for those who are not familiar
oh,
with this, QPR back in the day went out and spent a whole bunch of money, pretty much bringing a brand new team
Sean Wright.
just to get relegated, and they still have not recovered since.
Yeah, that was a hard blow, but ooh, Sean Wright Phillips was in his glee at those days. Those were the days he was the hot prospect.
But I mean, like I think wasn't that Redknapp that was
Yeah,
the manager back then too? So
yeah.
like they went and spent all this money and like pretty much just went out there saying that yeah, watch us now and do all this
Well, I
just to get sent back down. So
well, we will see. We will see. I don't think that I don't think that Forest has but they don't have the experience up here for since what 20 something years. So I want them to stay up though. Honestly, their team I like.
well, yeah, any team that's won European Cups, yes, I want to see them in the highest league. But I just it just reminds me too much of QPR. So
But let's hope the parallels doesn't
Yeah,
bring
well,
the same result.
they bought so many players.
mhm.
Let's see if they
They
the
bought
only
pretty much the whole new
difference.
squad. What was it, 21 players they bought?
Yeah,
Yeah, 21 players. The only difference between this Forest team And the QPR team that you're talking about is that the vast majority of the players that Forest bought were worked with the manager at Forest
Mm.
prior. So he knows exactly what he's getting with these players and they understand his system. So let's see if that would help them, you know, break the jinx, let's say, that QPR would have put on that kind of thing. Um Andrews is saying Forest taking a huge gamble. He
Yeah,
understands why they needed to buy, but the buys have to make sense. Correct is right. Correct is right.
definitely.
So, guys, one of the biggest standouts this week were was the poor
Oh,
refereeing
Jesus.
performances. You
Mhm.
understand? VAR just seems to be going through another bad episode in the EPL. I say
Yes.
another one because when VAR was first introduced, we had a number of horror, it was a horror show, right? Instead of it helping, it actually made the game worse. And now we back here. For a while it was going all right, but now we back here in this
Like
zone.
it's almost like they're doing it for spite sometimes. It just feel like they just
You know,
keep doing
it's like it almost feels like there's somebody there that's trying to get a promotion. It's like, you know what? Let me go and change this little thing right now so I can say I made a change so I can go and get promoted and make more money now.
it. But
I don't know if anybody else feels that way because to me, VAR is only supposed to interfere if it is a clear and obvious error and the point on the referee's point. But the fact, like, if the referee makes a decision at that point, and you have to go and look at VAR for all this time, look at all different angles and whatnot, whether it could be like a handball, but you only see the picture, you won't see the video of it. That's not clear and obvious as it is. You don't know if that player was falling and the hand was in a natural position and whatnot. Yeah, the VAR made me really upset at this point.
no, but
Like after this weekend, and like it almost makes it to the point where it's like if there's any English VAR in the World Cup, I don't want them there.
the sad
Because like you're taking a system that's supposed to be only for clear and obvious, and you're making it way too complicated, and that to me is a big problem right now.
the tagline that they had with VR coming into the English league was minimum interference, maximum benefit.
Absolutely.
Um, Alan Shearer made a statement and he said, VAR is not the problem, you know, it's the people running it. And I agree 100% with it.
But
Other
you should.
leagues,
So,
but
like with that being said, like you have the guy in the ear talking about you should go and take a look at the
no,
monitor right
and that's the thing.
now,
But when you watch
and
the,
when you say okay, fine, let me go and take a look at it. If you can't make the decision within, I don't know, let's give a 10 seconds looking at
Mhm.
it for the angles. It's not clear and obvious at that point.
No, but that's and now that's the thing now. So if you watch at the other leagues and other international tournaments, you don't see this kind of buffoonery happening with in terms of with VAR. Now my thing has always been why they don't use VAR instead of assistant referee, have it as an assessment, so it's continuously assessing the game. They're not interfering with the game. Take for instance with basketball, the NFL, in rugby, even in cricket to a large extent. They don't interfere with the game, but they view the game for all different aspects, going through the motions, they rewind it, they go through to make sure that the play is not, as I say, a static image they're looking at, but they're looking at the flow. For instance, the with the Coutinho call today with Newcastle in the Newcastle Aston Villa game, he was not offside. So he was not offside when the ball was played. So they looked at where he was and the ball when it was being played on a static image and telling me it's offside. When Chelsea played Arsenal 2 years ago in the FA Cup final, similar thing. They're showing a static line. Jorginho played the ball, but where the player is, he was not offside before the ball was played. So how can that be offside if you're showing a static image and then you're drawing a line to tell me that's where the line is? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. I see recently they have a indigenous technology with the ball. They have a sensor in the ball to help with that. And these are the things that should be doing. But in England, as I said, Devin, in England, it is just I don't know what it is, boy. Like
It's
So
it
they don't
let's go
like
through
it.
some of the
it just feels like you're trying to overcomplicate something, and to me the only thing that makes sense in my head is some person in VAR said, yeah, they're doing this, but I want to make my impact on it so I can go and get promoted because I said that I implemented this and it was successful.
Yeah,
So let's go through some of these specific incidents and some of the games that was negative, that were negatively influenced by VAR. Um, before we get into that, there was an emergency meeting by the Referee Association in the EPL today. So we're looking to see what is going to come out of that. And the fact that they themselves calling an emergency meeting means that it's not, that they themselves realize clearly this is not working. Why are our referees making these poor calls? Because it is not just, you can't just blame the referee on the pitch. The person in VAR making a bad call, and then the person on the pitch is just adding to it. Now, I always tell people, when you're refereeing a game and a man call you in your ear and say you need to go to the monitor, in your mind you're already second guessing the decision before you reach the monitor.
mm-hmm.
As far as you're concerned, the only reason you're sending them to the monitor is because you feel I make an error. Right? No, it's very rare a referee goes to the monitor, comes back and say, yeah, you see why I said first? That is it.
But that's an
Right?
ego. That's an ego thing. That's an ego thing. And
Most
and
most
that's
referees, once you get sent to that monitor, you don't
Change
set in your mind, I make a
and
mistake,
it
I
seems
go
it,
down overturn the call.
if they move it from assistant to assessment, it will be things that you missed or may have been something that here what it was not the ball that hit first is the player. You can't see that game speed. And this just take your assistant and replace it with assessment. They can keep the same VAR and you will move forward and everything will be good. I don't understand.
it goes down to me where if you need 4 or 5 minutes to make a decision, that is not clear and
But
obvious error.
correct,
And
correct.
if it's not clear and
So
obvious,
maybe
then you're
moving
supposed to
forward from here
keep the
on, like
initial decision.
maybe moving forward from here on out, like if you cannot make a decision within X amount of time, it stays the same call as you made on the field.
Yeah, but
But
then now
if you can truly legitimately show in that time, you're like, oh shoot, I made an obvious mistake here. Okay, it was in the flow of games. Maybe I missed this little
so
thing.
no, but no, the thing, if you implement that time span now, what will happen is you'll have referees who will just make decisions just to keep the game going, just to keep the flow of the game going. It may not be the right decision, it may not be the wrong decision, but they'll just say, you know what, just take a peep, let's move on. You understand?
But
And
and so it's like and that's where the debate comes in. How long is that time to make the decision?
right, but
Because you should not
and
be taking 4 or 5 minutes to make a decision, and at that point, it's not a clear and obvious error.
so then why we don't have the referees when they similar to the NBA and the NFL when they make a call, you see them come in the middle, number 5, rough play, 25 yards, or take on this one for pulling. Just make a why did the play was stopped because you
Well,
might tell the
that's one
referee
of the
might tell the
things.
same thing.
That's one of the things that they're saying, that the viewing public should be exposed to the conversations that is being
I
held
100%
between
agree
the
with that.
referee and
Yeah,
VAR.
I
Yeah,
think it's just like cricket. When they
yeah,
go and ask for reviews, you hear the exact commentary that they're speaking on. I
exactly.
100% am for that,
You
because
might
then
hear,
if you hear that, there is no debate
yeah,
amongst fans about
if
any
this,
bias or anything else. Why did you want to call this now? Because I saw this. All right, let me take a look at this. I'm on field. I saw this. Okay,
yeah.
fine. I don't. I we is there a clearing? Is there a clear and obvious error on anybody's point? Okay, whatever. Fine. Keep it moving. Nobody will complain about that.
Then you might hear the mic leak now. We have to get United as penalty. They're down. They're down. They have to get Champions League. Give me penalties.
You had to sneak that in there, didn't
So
you? You had to put that plug in there, didn't you?
so the
Just
one of the
because Howard
games
is back in England, you had to put that plug in there now. Okay.
so one of the games that was really a source of contention today was West Ham Chelsea.
Ugh.
Um Chelsea won the game ultimately. The final score was 2-1 to West Ham.
Hmm.
Let me just pull up. I'm just pulling up the details of the game here.
Now
Right?
as I pull up the details, the it's not just the final goal disallowed is the issue with me. Rich James could have been sent off. Antonio could have been sent off or should have been sent off, both of them, because Rich James kicked out at Antonio at a tackle, and then Antonio grabbed, put Thiago Silva in a headlock, and it was not called. And then we had the final combination of the the goal being called off. So it just a failure all wrong in
And,
that
and,
game.
and, and to be honest with you, that's one of the things that bothers me. Why VAR check certain things and not others. So if you
But
give a yellow card, VAR will check to see if it's a red card,
yeah,
right?
they will
Or
check
if
to
it's
see
a
if
red
that
card, they
offense.
will check to see if it should have been a red card or a yellow card.
Yeah,
However, when a player does a bad tackle and the referee misses it or he doesn't call a foul, VAR doesn't call the referee and say, hey, that wasn't just a foul,
no,
that
well,
should have been a yellow card.
no, well, the guidelines,
VAR don't get involved in that.
no, but the guidelines that
Exactly.
the
That's what I'm saying. The
referees start is
guidelines are
that
a little
where
narrow
they
and they don't
don't
make
and
sense sometimes.
Yes.
they don't point them in that direction. They don't give them autonomy to say here whatever you see, call.
I mean,
It's
a
just
simple thing like
offside goals, hand.
you're dealing with linesmen. These
Mm,
are human beings. People make mistakes. A ball could go over the touchline, and the linesman and the referee miss it. A player pull it back in. Goal score. Everybody on the replay could see the ball was out on the touchline, but because it's not called, VAR don't call in that back.
yeah,
That is not
won't
within VAR
they won't
remit.
the thing.
So
So
that goal is going to end up standing, even though everybody could see that ball went out, and the
what
referees and them just miss it.
what we're gonna see from next week go forward is gonna see a huge overcorrection and
Well, that is what
it's
happened last year
Yeah,
when
yes,
with the
yes.
handballs.
Freaking makeup calls and all this other stuff. Yes.
yeah.
Well, not
I,
makeup calls, but you'll remember at one point where every time the ball hit a man hand, it was a
Yeah.
handball was being given last season.
but
Yeah.
and that's what I was alluding to, where it's like it won't be like a makeup call where the ref missed a call and then like later on it's something that would not have been normally called. He calls it then. But now it seems like because of things that have happened in previous games, things that they would have gotten away with before, now they may be more strict on it. Or it could be vice versa now, where things that were called before, because they say they made a mistake on it, they will be a little bit more lenient on the calls.
So
But,
so
but
let's
again,
get into
it
these
just comes
specifics.
down to with me: is it a clear and concise error on the official?
Let's get into the specifics,
Yeah.
because that is going to speak to where what you're talking about there, the overcorrectness that might take place. We don't know what exactly is going to come out of that referees meeting. We could only wait until next weekend and see.
Well, however,
So Ben Chilwell, I must say, the goal by Ben Chilwell was a very good goal. Michael Antonio scored first for West Ham. Ben Chilwell scored. Being able to take that ball up on his
yeah,
head,
and look at
and he passed the ball to himself.
the
And
assistance.
he passed the ball to himself, because after he headed the ball, he turned around looking for it. He didn't pass anybody else. That level of
It's a nice goal.
control,
Yeah, it
that
was a
level of skill was top notch. Excellent finish by Chilwell.
definitely.
Kai Havertz scored, so Chelsea is up 2-1. And then the situation is, here's a break. The ball goes into the box. The Chelsea keeper comes out and palms away the ball,
Dumbness.
seeing that the West Ham player is coming onto him. He palms away the ball successfully, full contact. The player makes contact with the goalkeeper after he palms away the ball. So the ball gone. Another player, West Ham player, end up getting the ball, putting the ball in the back of the net. And then they call. And the truth is, if that had happened and mind you, the player didn't kick the goalkeeper. The player was trying to jump over the goalkeeper. So it's what you would call incidental contact.
I don't look at it like that. I look at it that he leave his foot trailing to maybe get a penalty. I look at it like that. But there was contact. Whether
Yes.
it was malicious, whether it was intentional, whether it was an accident, that's where the discussion will come, because I've seen them make that similar call against Edison already and cancel the play and give the free kick to Man City. So it may come up biased as me having Chelsea jersey. We didn't deserve, honestly, we didn't deserve to win that game. I'm not even going to hide it. But that call there was pure controversy. But whichever side it fall on is pure controversy, because I'm telling you, I remember specifically Edison. That same thing happened with Edison. I can't remember who they were playing, and they didn't score from the resulting play, but ball went out to his side. So was going to whip it back in, and referee blew for a foul and give Man City a free kick. So I mean,
And then when
it's
you
like
look at the other game, which was Newcastle playing Crystal Palace, that ended up in a 0-0 draw. You had a cross coming in for Newcastle. You have a Newcastle player running into the goalkeeper, but the goalkeeper missed the ball. If the Newcastle player didn't run into the goalkeeper, he was not going to get to the ball. So the ball flies over both of their heads and hands, in the case of the goalkeeper, hits a Crystal Palace player, ends up in the back of the net. It is called off for a foul on the goalkeeper, right? Which clearly, how did that affect the end result? It didn't affect the end result at all. So instead of Newcastle winning the game on an own goal, the play was called back for a foul on the goalkeeper.
and
And
in that same game. Sorry to cut you. When you watch, you see, I can't remember who the defender was. He pushed Wilcock into the goalkeeper. So you're putting all the onus on the attacking player. You have all the focus on the attacking player. But a frame or two before, you see the defender push. That's where Devon was talking more with the static image. These are the things that does contribute to nonsensical things like this.
and
so,
and
Oh, you
and
could.
it just still seems to me where it just comes down to, if you cannot show within a reasonable time of frame it is a clear and concise error, a clear and obvious error, you stay with the decision as it is, which is something that the NFL has actually, I think, does it pretty well. And maybe there can be some controversy about a call later on, but they will come out and legitimately say, yeah, there's controversy here, but it was not enough to be a clear and concise error to reverse the
Mhm.
decision. So if it's not clear and
so,
concise, you stick with the decision on the field.
so the question I want to ask is this: in both instances, these instances specifically, the 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 challenge seems to be overprotection of goalkeepers. Do you all think that coming out of the meeting with the referee association today, that they are going that goalkeepers are going to be protected a little less? Do you think that's going to be the outcome?
No, I don't think so,
Mhm.
because I'm not a big fan of changing the rules in the middle of the season, because to me then that questions the integrity of the game, because something you got away with before and now you don't could change like the rules. People could have a case there. It should be more so along the lines of, we will not we're gonna go with this for now, but at the end of the season, we're gonna have a discussion before the beginning of the season. We will make sure this is very clear as it is too.
I don't think that even if next season they're gonna release or lessen the protection on goalkeepers, because as we've seen, a lot of goalkeepers have been in some serious dangers. They are the most exposed player on the field. What I think is gonna happen is what I'm gonna stick with. Be they're gonna tell them rely on your VAR, and everything is gonna go to VAR if they can make a decision split.
I am against that. I, I
It's
I am so against that. It's not even funny.
Does not know what Amos Andrews is saying here is correct. However, my thing is that in those other leagues, you don't see the amount of controversies and controversial
Correct. And
calls
it
that
just
happen.
and it comes down to me where my suspicion comes down to it, somebody that wants to leave their impact on the game because they want to either have a legacy or they're trying to get a promotion.
Well, at the way,
That's just that is my suspicion. I can't prove it. I can't say anything. It's just a suspicion.
by the way how the season going, I feel we might have to label this the VAR season because it's gonna have it. I just believe that while Andrew said yes, is not typically, it's not a uniquely a EPL problem with VAR. There are issues with these things, but no changes like
I
that. No
I I,
FIFA,
I agree with this comment with Martin Phillip here, asking
no,
where's
but
FIFA in the process.
no, well,
You
FIFA,
should have a standard. You should have a standard for VAR across all the different leagues, so there's no room for controversy.
no, but that's the thing. No, with that's the thing. The guidelines for VAR are used all over.
Hmm.
What happens in England is just that they either choose to ignore it when they're ready, or the other hand choose to double down when they're ready. And that's exactly where the controversy comes in. And that is why they have the four specific areas that VAR can override or tell a referee to go to the monitor to minimize the game
Because
to keep going on every minute is a call a stop and things like that. But I just feel it's going to be an over reliance on VAR going forward now, and just going to
Yeah.
solid the game from forward at least until the end of the season.
we would remember when we were talking about the handball controversy that was going on for the first 3 months of last season,
Mm.
um, that they end up changing the handball rules in the UK where they specify once is above
The armpit,
the not armpit, if it's on the armpit or if it's where the jersey is and above like your shoulder, and they made it more specific. So there is leeway within different jurisdictions with rules. You remember when everybody else was doing 5
yeah.
substitutions before it was fully ratified by FIFA. Everybody else was doing 5 substitutions. The UK was still doing 3.
Mm-hmm.
So there is some leeway for the leagues to do different things, and that is why I'm very interested to see what is going to come out of this, because the two
So
major incidents had to do with goalkeepers and protecting goalkeepers from
So,
going
and
to the
I'm, but with that being said, if they make a rule change in the middle of the season, does that not compromise the integrity
Yeah, but
of?
they did it with the remember they did it with the handballs that they had the handball situation and they made a they wouldn't call it a rule change, they would make it as Carlton talk about a clarification, right?
Mhm.
But it was a change because all of a sudden what was being called handball in the beginning of the season was not called handball in the middle of the season.
So, but like with the reason why I'm saying this is where it comes down to like the season when Liverpool won the title. You remember, like in the middle of it, obviously they had COVID in the middle of it,
Mm.
where like they changed in the middle of the season, the change from substitutions to 3 to 5, and now people say Liverpool did not legitimately win the title. I am not gonna say that they won the title. They dealt with all the rules and won it. I'm saying this as a United fan, but I'm just saying, does that not leave like that gray area now, where all of a sudden these were the rules before, now we change it in the middle of the season, and you just so happen to benefit from it.
Well, that is
Well,
why
yeah.
this is interesting, because
No,
now our eyes are fixed on what is going to be the outcome, because we don't know. We just speculating. We don't
speculated.
know what the outcome is going to be.
I want to answer a question from Andrew we asked just now with the VAR. Well, the VAR was introduced in 2016. La Liga started to use it in the 2017-18 season, and then the EPL followed it in the 2019 season. So that it came from the Dutch, where the Dutch league was using it first. So the idea was always there. They have used it, they refine it as with anything goal line technology as well. It takes some use to work on the kinks and whatnot. As I said before, and as Alan Shearer said, it's not the matter of the technology itself, because all of us have phones, laptops, we have cars. It's not a matter of the equipment. It's the person behind the screen, behind the monitor, behind the wheel. Those are the people who, in the EPL, that making it so frustrating, because I can't say for the life of me, I have the World Cup, you didn't see this much controversy and
So can
FIFA
I
like,
can I ask a question here right now?
what's that?
As a compromise right now for everybody here, when they go and look at the VAR, when they say they want to go take a look at the VAR, does anybody here have an issue with that commentary between the VAR and the ref on the field
No, no,
being
I don't,
broadcasted?
no,
I,
no,
I actually think if you do that, that would actually answer a lot of the controversy right
yeah,
now, because
and
then you hear exactly what the discussion is and
yeah,
why they're making the decision. Because
and it,
you could maybe like make a decision then there, and afterwards you may be asked to clarify later on, but you don't hear it exactly how it was in the moment. You may have forgotten a moment because you may have forgotten like an incident because it happened 45 minutes ago or something like that. So if you're gonna make, if there's gonna be anything which I think if you're gonna make that change right now in the middle of it, I don't think any fans will have a problem with that.
they're not gonna make
Make
that.
it clear. Like make it clear. It's the same thing with cricket right now,
Yeah,
where
but
they talk, you hear exactly how it is, and they make that call real fast. Hey,
and
I
as
want
it,
you to go look at VAR for this reason. Okay, let's discuss it between each other. Is it clear and obvious? I want you to look at this. All right, can I get a rewind on this? Can you look at this again? I'm not seeing this. Or I'm like, okay, or yeah, go from there. Like, hey, go look at the monitor because hey, I think you missed a call on a handball. All right, let me see this. Okay, was his arm in a natural position? Okay, was he falling? And okay, and it's falling. It comes out for balance. All right, I make those decisions from there instead of okay, just look at it. We don't hear anything, and it's all speculative. We have to guess.
And
You do
again,
that from there, but you also like, and you make that so like not only we hear it, not only we hear it like as watching on TV, you put that in the stands as well too, so everybody hears it and everybody understands and why you made the call.
and not just with a static picture too. You have to show
Yes,
the
the
natural play
video as well and all
progression.
that too. So yes, and I think if that's a clarification that comes out of this, I don't think anybody will have any complaints.
There was a comment just now there that I didn't get a chance to fully see it. Before the guy who was speaking about the betting, I can't remember his name. It just his comment stood out to me. Right, Mr. Augustine, he comment two comments before that. No, two, no. I don't
Which
even
one?
go
Which
this.
one?
Not this one. The next one. The one
The
just before
offside
this.
one.
Yeah.
I,
Right.
I think I think it was just more like they decided to have thicker lines or something like that. I think that's
No,
all it
no.
was.
Now this he says a rule change is not a rule change, but a clarification that player who's offside doesn't automatically become onside when the defender touches the ball. Now, the I guess going off topic on the league per se, in the Champions League finals versus Liverpool and Real Madrid, UEFA came out and said that Benzema's goal in the first half should have stood because the ball hit I can't remember who it hit going. Then
Yeah,
Benzema
it's a defender, correct?
onside, right?
Hmm.
There was a similar situation when Man City played Spurs a few years ago in Champions League semi-finals, sorry. When it was the ball came off of Song and then Aguero went down and the reverse decision put them offside. This weekend we had when I think it was Cody scored the goal against Liverpool. They put it offside. However, the ball touched, I think it was Milner coming across and they put them as offside. So yes, as I said, the inconsistencies with the calls and
Correct.
the
Correct.
situation that cause these kind of
So
things.
this will be one where it comes down to okay, fine. At least going forward, we can hear the exact talk they're saying. Because you know what? Then you could say, all right, cool. We know exactly which rule they're asking about. In the off season now, you can make in all the changes and whatnot. But at least now, if
Mhm.
you make it clear where you could hear everything that was going on, there's no room for controversy.
I don't. That is a very good, and I hope they do it, but that will come next season. They won't make us that serious.
Yeah,
That big
that
of
is
a
a big change. I don't
adjustment
expect that
in the
change to
middle of the
happen in the
season.
middle of the
Yeah.
season.
But
I
so
don't- I don't
and
think
the
that
reason being is if you do that, are you modifying any rules in the game by doing that?
no, but what they can do in the interim is have the referees address after where you have players and managers address
No.
the
It's
camp.
I
No, but
so
then no, because the referees just do nonsense and they have
As
no
it is, as
repercussion.
it
They
is
face
right
nothing.
now,
They
the
face nothing.
referee association doesn't explain anything
They don't. They don't.
well no
after game.
it's just again it's
And
how is having the conversation that you're having with the referee back at Stokely Park or whatever it is,
no,
and
yeah,
you how is this a big rule change in the game?
we hear you, and we
No, it's
agree
not
that it's
that.
not a big rule change, but some kind of communication in the meantime
Yeah,
is
needs
what we
to.
say.
It
Give us
needs
And
to.
then
something.
and then in the off season you can go ahead and make all the rule changes with VAR and whatnot, but at least now you can hear it so you know exactly what they're thinking. And that
Yes,
way, and that way,
understand.
this way, it's okay. In the heat of the moment, yes, you make a call and whatnot, and you can analyze it and go from there or whatnot. But it's not changing any rule. It's not changing any rules in the game.
Well, at least now we go here. Checking into VAR. The check clear yet? Man City need a penalty here. Is the check cleared? No. Okay, then no penalty. Free kick.
So let's
Uh,
let's talk about our Everton Liverpool game.
Oh Jesus!
Well, we
Liverpool
don't really
lucky.
have. Let me rephrase that. We didn't really
Lucky
have anything
Liverpool.
to talk about because it was 0-0. We mentioned that there was
You have to give
suspect call.
credit. You have to give credit to the two goalkeepers.
Yeah, definitely. Pickford fighting for that spot.
We
Henderson.
had we had two Salah hit the post and
Yes, hit the
Everton.
post.
I think it was Patterson
Nunes hit the post. Yeah, it
hit the
was
Yeah,
post as well.
yeah.
it was a
But
good game.
what I really want to talk about is Liverpool. Everybody thought after they lost to Manchester United and they totally dismantled and embarrassed Bournemouth 9-0 that okay, yeah, they're back on track. Clearly, they've played 2 games since then. They were lucky in
Mhm.
extra time to get a win in the last game. And now against Everton, a matchup that they have dominated. they fail to come away with with a win. Clearly Liverpool is not
They're not.
performing at their highest levels.
They're,
So
they definitely they're missing Mane one,
Oh,
and
definitely, definitely.
the injuries in their midfield
Hmm.
definitely has hampered them a bit. However, if I am Frank Lampard, I am happy with the
Oh,
result, not
oh,
the poor officiating.
he just saved his job. He just saved his job. I
Definitely, but
agree.
the poor officiating saved them. The goal that was on, I don't want to use bad words, but however, it was supposed to stand. And
yeah,
Yeah,
that
two,
goal
when the
should have
Everton scored. Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah.
Van Dyke remaining on the field was just, I clearly don't know how this guy was on the field. Studs up, tackle, and nothing. I mean, come on, where's VAR when we need VAR? So
Mhm.
Liverpool were lucky to leave with anything in that game.
lucky
Definitely.
again, 2 games in a row.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna run out. Remember, I say better to be lucky than good, but sometimes the luck does run out, and it's gonna run out. Um, poof.
Gerard,
Yeah,
Gerard,
right now it look like Jared. Because
Gerard.
he has Douglas Luiz, he has Coutinho, he has all these wonderful players with him, and he's not getting the results he's supposed to be getting at this.
You
uh,
know, I feel that he is well. My big thing when it comes to you don't sack a manager until he loses the dressing room. And I feel he's thrown a couple players under the bus publicly, and they're not liking that, and they have a lot more influence on the dressing room than he thinks. And so when the players do not respond to you, it doesn't matter how good a manager you are, you can do whatever. But if these players will talk to other ones and whatnot, you lose the dressing room. Nothing you say is going to matter because they're going to do whatever they want anyway at that point.
you know how much I hate that. Don't hate. That's such a strong word. Dislike that statement. The players don't want to play. I mean, like, there's a job. I tell it to go
Yeah,
and do
yeah,
it on the field.
I
I
100%, I 100% agree with that.
I don't
But at the
understand
same
that.
time, the players, but like if you like, because they're expecting the players to do this no matter what. Like you want players who are going to run through brick walls for you and whatnot.
Mm.
But if you're going to throw them under the bus publicly, aka what he did to Tyrone Mings, like in the first instance, and you still expect that player to respond in a certain way, you
But
lose
we have seen,
respect. And
yeah,
when
but
and
we,
when and when you lose respect for the manager, you're not going to give as much as you would before. And
yeah, but
the
we,
dilemma now comes: you bring in somebody younger who will run through walls, but doesn't have the same technical ability, but they make a lot of mistakes, but because they give their all,
yeah, but we have
is
seen,
that is that worth going over the player who will still go out there and is a better overall player, better IQ?
but we have seen managers did that, and they got the best out of players. Mourinho,
But
first off the top of my head, he's done that. You all the man, all the legend himself, Alex Ferguson has done that. He even threw a shoe, a boot
so,
at Beckham head.
but I also think that comes down to it's man management because certain players will respond differently to that than others. Because certain players they will take that as a challenge and go in and be like, "Watch me now, I'm gonna prove him wrong." Other ones will sit there and cry in a corner and then they'll sit there
Well,
and
then
they
you're not
won't give their all.
then you're not mentally fit. I remember Mourinho called Eto old. Eto went and scored a hat trick against you all, and gave him the old man celebration.
And that's my point, man management, because certain players will respond differently.
Yeah, but then you're not
Like
set
for
out for
Fergie,
this.
Fergie and Rooney, like Fergie would just curse off Rooney all the time, and Rooney would get pissed off and respond and score a hat trick next game. He did that to Nani. Nani would cry in a corner, but then afterwards you went and nurtured him and go out and score 2 goals. So like
Yeah, but
it's man
I
management.
I don't see what Gerrard did particularly wrong, because Mings is one of the top English defenders that they called in, so that they call on. So he's supposed to have this mentality in him already, and it's not to say now
Yeah,
coming
but
up
the truth
or
be
anything.
told, when you're seeing players make the same mistake over and over, Tyrone Mings in that game consistently was giving men too much room and not closing down the space. You know what I mean? And that would frustrate any manager. You know what I'm saying?
Definitely, but Cousins, I mean, knows exactly what I'm talking about. You went by the flag and the old man thing. I mean, like, as Chad said there, you can't be doing the same thing over and over and expect them to pick you and not call you
Hey,
out.
we talking about Aston Villa. So it seems we have shifted from Liverpool. So let me take this down and let's talk about Aston Villa versus Manchester City. That game ended in a 1-all draw.
Coutinho's goal should have stood. Enough said.
Yeah, definitely,
Enough
definitely.
said. Enough said. And I don't
Yeah.
think I need to have any argument on that. I don't think
No, no,
anybody
no,
on here disagrees. But
no.
yeah.
City should have done better to close off this game early, but as we've seen, they this season they off the stride a bit. They're still second, but you're seeing
So
like they off a bit. I don't know why.
and this is like when it comes to VAR, one thing that I have an issue with is they're so quick to look at a goal and call it back for offsides. But when you make a wrong call and an offsides decision and it leads to a goal, why is that not reviewed as well too?
Hmm. If you make a wrong call,
AKA Coutinho's goal that should have stood.
You know,
that's
Carlton, just to touch on this comment from
that's
Carlton
interesting.
here, saying that City is depending on Haaland too much. That is a very, as the first time I've heard that.
Yeah,
Because
I
everybody complained
I don't agree
that
with
Pep
it.
didn't used to use a number 9.
you play
Now
with a
he's
false
using
nine
a
and
number
you
9 and
never
they're
know which
scoring
one to
more
transport.
goals.
Yeah.
So it's
All they did
like,
was add a striker right to their side and they still play the same system. So
No,
I
but
I don't agree with that comment.
no, I said that there, but now thinking about it, I agree with it because remember they because last season they played most of the season without a number 9.
Hmm.
So now that they have him, Pep might be saying just pass the ball to Haaland, just pass the ball to Haaland. So normally where they
So
would
in
have
other words, you're saying what we did with Ronaldo last season at United.
um well
but I don't think so. City
no,
normally creates a lot of chances.
and
Let's
that's
be
the
Yes.
thing.
real.
But they're
We
not shooting. They're not
none
shooting
of
as
us
before.
none of us like City. But
I,
the bottom line is City creates a lot of chances. And Jesus used to throw away. Sterling used to throw away. And the opportunities that City would normally be throwing away, Haaland is putting in the back of the net. So I don't think that they are, and Alvarez is no slouch either. I don't think necessarily that City is too dependent on Haaland, right? The bottom line is you need that is what you want your strikers to do: put the ball in the back of the net.
but are the players who are not the strikers shooting the ball as they were last season? Because last season everybody was hitting the ball. And that's exactly it. You know, everybody instead of
Show
hitting
this last comment from Carlton, the one below it, because I agree with this one too. And I think
and that's
that one I agree with this comment.
yeah, before they were taking the shots, they were
Uh-huh.
everybody was banging them in. They're knocking, something was going. Now it's just like put the ball in the bundle, Haaland would be there. And that's like the good thing, you have Haaland, but that's the bad thing now that you have Haaland. So you want him to score. And everybody just like feels away from scoring. So maybe that's the issue that I mean to draw 1-1. I'm not taking away anything from Aston Villa, but I mean to draw 1-1, I was expecting this team to get like 4 or 5. I mean,
It should have been 2-1 Villa. Sorry. I'm yeah. Anyway,
I agree with you. I agree with you. I agree with you. Man.
yeah.
I agree with you there,
All
but
right,
it,
let's move on. We have Wolves taking on Spurs. Wolves won. No, sorry, Southampton, not Spurs. Wolves
no,
beating Southampton 1-0. And then we had the other game, the last game that we're going to be talking about. There were two games today, Manchester United, Arsenal. We dealt with that one already. And the other game that happened today was Leicester City, still bottom
oh
of
my
the
god,
league, taking on Brighton. Brighton has been having a
a
truly
wonderful season.
I I
wonderful
I am
season.
actually somebody right now that is thinking Graham Potter right now is putting himself in a position to replace Gareth Southgate for the England team.
That guy has been. I keep telling men, I say Graham Potter. That's the man to watch. You know, that's the
Yeah,
guy
it's
to watch.
and if he does not get that, if he like after the season, there's gonna be clubs that are looking and gonna start to
Yeah,
poach him
definitely,
because he
definitely.
he he is doing a great job.
Hmm.
Unfortunately, I saw it in person how good a job that he did against United. But yeah, I could see after this World Cup if Southgate does not get results. Yeah, if I were the FA, well then again, how often does the FA make any good decisions when it comes to the England side? So, but if I were the FA, I'd be seriously looking at him.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when as I know what to speak about Rogers, if Rogers gets sacked and the owners back in a new manager, I think Graham Potter should be the guy they should
So,
definitely replace
like,
him.
and the only reason why I could see Rogers getting the sack, where it kind of reminds me of what happened with United with the Glazers. where it's the sons or sons taking over after the one guy
Mhm.
who bought the team or actually had a vision for it.
Mhm.
They pass away for whatever reasons. Unfortunately, the lesser owner died in the helicopter crash.
Mhm.
The son took over, and he thinks he knows better than the dad, or it could just be that he just doesn't know what's going on,
Well,
and
it's his
you're
club
not
now.
understanding everything, and you make a rash decision.
Well,
Because I
they
still think Rogers is the right person for that job. I also think he was not backed properly in the transfer window.
well their scout, their main scout, the guy who was responsible for the 2016 victory. He's at Everton right now. So it's a whole lot of backroom situations. I mean, I
That's
still,
it. Yeah.
Rogers is
I'm still,
perfect for that job because Rogers is a butler, right? And anywhere he is always going to fall short, whether it's short of the title with Liverpool or short of the top four, as many times he's finished
well,
fifth
they, well,
with
to
Leicester.
credit to Rogers, they got the FA Cup. So, I mean,
Yeah.
something, maybe they play
Yeah,
for
yeah,
nostalgia or
yeah.
something, but they got something. But
I just
Graham Potter to
if he
Leicester,
if
you heard
if
it
he
here
gets the
first.
sack, if he gets the sack, I think it's very unfair on Brendan Rodgers
It's
because he
cheaper,
because he was not backed at all properly. And I mean,
definitely.
you lost Casper Schmeichel. You lost you
Lost
lost
Fofana,
was it
lost
You
Fofana?
Fofana.
lost the men and them sell players and make plenty money and hardly buy anybody.
And my thing is, I didn't understand this Michael to France. I just like to me that came out of nowhere. Like it wasn't
Yeah,
paying
yeah,
anything.
and
You
it was
sell your main your main
and it
goalie.
was only like 3 million, and I say that in quotes because
Yeah,
obviously
it's just
none
You
of
like
us are
sell your main
here, but
goalie
yeah.
in buy a goalkeeper, and you have Ward who really looks average at
Currently,
best.
I do not disagree. I do not disagree with that statement.
and you sell for Fofana. Talisman most likely is going Arsenal next season. He's already mentally out of it. You know, Vardy, if Vardy's not scoring goals, going to dry up. So I mean,
And then you have Madison, who just is all about James Madison. So yeah,
that, that was it. If he gets sacked, and Graham Potter is available next season, then I think Leicester should go for it. If
yeah,
not,
but will Potter want to go to that when
and
he's
that's
Well,
what
I
I
was
was,
now I'm not gonna say we
that's what I followed
assuming
it up with.
yes, Leicester is higher up the table generally than
Yeah,
Brighton. But if Potter gets Brighton into Europe,
or
I
even
wouldn't be
tenth.
leaving a team that go in and play, even if it's the conference league. I will not be
Yeah,
leaving a team that I take
they
and bring
and
them
carry
into
him
that
there.
position to
correct,
go and try to fix Leicester mess.
Yeah, and that's
No,
what,
correct,
no, Leicester could sit there and
correct.
fix their own
and,
mess.
and
The,
that's what
the,
I
the
was
only
after.
the only thing that makes sense there is you move to a team that's playing in Champions League, or you take over a
If it's
national
a
club.
real step up, or the as you see, you all
Yes,
say the England job. If it's
Yeah,
a real step up, yeah, you will leave Brighton for a step up, but you ain't leaving Brighton for just a name step up to go Leicester
but I
because
yeah.
can
you're
but I
gonna
can tell
hate.
you right now, if Southgate decides to play too defensive again, like he did for the last couple of tournaments with England, with that talent they have there right now, I
Southgate
think
and going
there'll
a
be
place.
real calls for Potter to take over that side. So
Southgate and going a place. I could bet everything. Southgate and going a place.
Well, I
and,
think
and
the
he and he
only
has a real problem right now, Southgate, in my opinion, because he's somebody where it kind of reminds me of Ole, where he's always going to pick the same trusted players, and I say trusted in quotes. So,
Then what I mean,
but
sometimes,
but, but those same trusted players right now are not playing for their clubs.
but
So
I mean,
he's in real trouble right
I
now.
mean,
So
sometimes they trusted players. We look at Chelsea. We didn't start Kai or Chilwell, and they came in and saved us. I mean, sometimes you just have to. We give guys the run. Yeah, they look at it, and then you know. So I
well,
mean,
let me just run through the details because this was a real thriller. 5-2 in favor of Brighton over Leicester.
oh,
Um,
McAllister played incredible. Enough said. Enough said.
he had a free kick and a beautiful, well, a penalty and a beautiful free kick. He had a shot
And a
also from
disallowed goal
outside
outside
that
the
was
box.
disallowed.
Disallowed goal, which was
That I
and
again
another
another VAR
controversial
decision
call.
that I disagree with.
Another controversial call. Yeah, shocking. VAR this
So,
weekend.
so
VAR this
McAllister could
weekend,
have
and
had a
I
hat trick.
you know, I say it right now. VAR is boo boo man for this week already.
yeah, yeah. I
Guys,
think
go ahead, Doctor
no.
Zeus.
I think at the end of the show we should do this segment. Who should get benched? Who get benched this week, and who get start? And VAR had to get benched. VAR had to get benched this
Definitely.
week because they did absolute trash. It was
Oh
a
yes.
horrendous, horrible. I mean, it is. Yes, yeah. So you see what Mr. Augustine said there? That is all. That is all. Southgate reached semi-finals, quarterfinals, and he's there. He reached finals at the Euros. He reached finals at Euros, the semi-finals of
You know what was great?
World
Like
Cup.
I was in the stadium for the Euro final.
Uh,
And like
but
when Luke Shaw scored in the third minute, and like you heard us all celebrating, like going nuts. Like I was supposed to fly back to the States the next day, and I'm sitting here thinking we're gonna start play, we're gonna celebrate and all this. And as the game went on, we're expecting okay, make more attacking chances. And then I just kept on sitting back and making these chances. Everybody was questioning it there. We're like, what are you doing? Like no, this team is not set up as Jose Mourinho style park the bus.
he all he has to do at
But
first
he
was
did that. But he did that, and he. It's like all the things that you did to get you to the final. You forgot that in the final.
bench from the. You see about say bench from the bench. How go do the club captain that? Come on, man. Come on, man. Come on.
So
Don't do that. Don't
So
do that.
let's just run through the league table. We have Arsenal still on top after suffering their first loss with 15 points after 6 games. Well, everybody would have played 6 games. Manchester City 1 point behind, 2 draws, no losses for Manchester City as yet. On 14 points. Spurs are also on 14 points. Brighton round out the top four on
Hmm.
13 points. Manchester United 3 weeks ago, bottom of the league. Today, fifth on 12 points. Chelsea sixth on 10 points. Liverpool seventh on 9 points, on the same amount of points as Brentford. And then Leeds ninth and Fulham 10th. Let's just deal with the bottom three. Right now, we have West Ham after 6 games, only 4 points. Based on how West Ham finished this season last season, I think this is a real shock.
Yeah,
mhm,
definitely.
This is a
yeah,
real shock that West Ham has started the season so badly. 6 games in, only 4 points. Nottingham Forest, well, they are newly promoted side, so we expect them to be around there. Even though I expect them to end up staying up, they're on 4 points as well. And Leicester City has played
Yeah.
6 games. This is a team that has made it into the top six consistently. They won. They're the only one of the teams outside of the traditional top four to win the Premier League within the last 10 years. And after 6 games, Leicester City sit bottom of the league with 1 point. And that defense for Leicester just seems very fragile. I think if we set up a small side right now, we just call 12 men and we go, I think we could score
We
on
could,
Leicester right.
yeah, we could get something inside, man. I sure about that. Definitely sure about that. They had 21 actually, Mr. Augustine, 21.
Yeah,
Y-
Carlton. We spoke about that earlier in the program. You're coming late, Carlton. You're coming late. You
I mean,
mustn't come late.
and as Mr. Augustine said there, he said something that really wanted to talk about too. Costa back in the Premier League, most likely. He getting a trial with Wolves, so he may be back with it
Well, the
with
only way he could be
Premier
back
League.
is on loan because the window is shut for
You know what?
purchases. But I think the window is
well,
still
I
open
think
on loan.
if you're a free agent, you can
no, he's
sign
a
it
free agent.
anytime.
He's
Well,
a
right.
free agent.
Sorry.
Yeah,
Or as a free
he's a
agent,
free
which he
agent.
is.
So him coming to Wolves, I mean, definitely. Yeah, but Philip, we commented that. We commented that. This is the battle of the undefeateds here. Undefeated. But
I see City winning that game.
mm-mm, mm-mm, mm-mm. That ain't happening. Spurs getting something out of that game. Either 3 or 1. Spurs getting
Well,
something.
that's this. This is the
Look
final.
at so pretty much right now, Son is not in form right now.
Mm.
Kane is firing. Kane is doing well for Spurs right now. Um, who else are they going to depend on for goals in that game?
Conte's system will always get goals. He's done. He's shown it with Italy, Juventus, Inter Milan, Chelsea. The system he plays with.
Richard Erickson has shown himself to be a success already at Spurs.
Yeah.
Shockingly to me, because I really didn't rate him. But
No, what Devin says is right. The main guys, well, the main partnerships on Kane and clicking, but they're gonna get the goals.
other people, Kulusevski and Richard Erickson, putting in the effort.
They're
They
gonna get
filling
the
in
goals.
where Son is
Mhm.
falling off.
I don't see City, and Conte is going to play similar to how United played Arsenal. You keep the ball now, man. You keep the ball. Last time Mourinho played the same thing against City with Spurs. They got how much possession? I got the 3 points. That's all that matters. You keep the ball. That have nothing to do with me. When I get the ball, it's up the road. That's it. City are
So
gonna have a
let
high.
me let's get you all, let's get the panel on the spot, and people in the comments as well. You all could chime in. Next week, big game, man, big game. The only real big game of the weekend, Manchester City versus Spurs. Give me a prediction.
I go with the same thing I go with this year. I go in with what I go with. What I put United to win Arsenal this weekend. Yeah, 3-1.
Wow.
Yeah, Spurs winning 3-1. These things boring
And,
with us with
and
this
would you
boy.
would you go as far as to say who the goal scorers are?
Um, Kane Fabrice, Richarlison to score.
Okay.
Yeah,
All
definitely.
right,
But
Devin, was your score?
Unfortunately, I have to say 2-0 to Man City. Holland will get one, and De Bruyne will get one as well too.
well, all right, all right.
All right, all
Mr.
right.
Philip, you hear me right? City to lose. Big, big, big.
Carlton is agreeing with Dr. Zeus. Carlton is saying 2-0 to Spurs.
Yeah,
Um,
definitely. No,
this game is challenging for me to make a prediction, and I will tell you all why. Spurs doesn't look good. They don't look like they hitting the heights they could hit. Sometimes the defense looks frail. Sometimes the attack just seems like it's missing something. But City has been conceding goals in the back, regardless of how good City looks good, which
mhm.
is weird. City looks good. When you watch City play, they look good, but for some reason they concede goals,
Yeah, because
right?
this
They
season
don't
has
they
been
don't
a
look.
weird
The
one.
defense doesn't look fragile, but they conceding goals. And you're talking about Son, Kulusevski, Richard Erickson, and the man himself, Harry Kane. You had to tell yourself,
They're gonna
if
score.
if Newcastle could score against this team, if
Villa
um
score.
West
Aston Villa
Villa
score them.
could score against this team, I think Spurs could score
Yeah,
against this team. So I
yeah.
am definitely not seeing a 0-0. I am definitely expecting City to concede. I'm also expecting Spurs to concede. This is the first time there's Haaland, Harry Kane head to head. You know what I'm saying? This is a big game. There are a lot of different storylines in
City,
this
this
game.
this where you miss out. I'm gonna show you, and it's gonna show you what's gonna happen. And boy, Spurs beat City before. Ah, listen to me, Mr. Philip. Let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. I want you to listen to me very carefully. There's no way. There is no way Manchester City is beating Spurs in this game coming here. No way. Spurs getting something as either 3 points or 1 point. They could put that in the envelope, carry it in FCB, go cash next week. Don't wild yourself up with cashing. Spurs taking something for sure, for sure, for sure. I do the program in a City jersey if that happen. I do the program in a Man City jersey if City win. Yeah,
Well, I know
yeah.
you gotta go and buy that jersey, or you gotta borrow
That,
it
that that's
because I
on
know
that's
you.
on the record, but yeah,
Yeah,
I
it,
know.
yeah,
I know you don't have one.
I'm going on record to say that. But
all
City,
right.
as I say, City is a wonderful side. They are very, very dangerous. Very dangerous. You can't let up with them. But I know Conte. I know the guy. He responds to adversity very, very good. When Arsenal beat us 3-0, when he was coaching Miles, the man switched that back three in the middle of a game and went on to win the league. He knows how to make the subtle changes. He knows how to get the players to get the best out of players. And Devin, you spoke about players running through brick walls for the coach.
Mhm.
Everybody who plays on the Conte does the same damn thing.
So what I would say with Conte is they do it for a season or two, and then he does pretty much the Mourinho thing where he starts throwing players under the bus here and there, and then he slowly but surely loses the dressing room.
Because he knows
Well,
how he knows that they are better than what they happen. Now with him at Chelsea was the whole Costa situation, which is tasteless. It was tasteless. I'm not gonna slide with text message saying he no longer needed. That was just wrong. However, the guy is All right, Philip.
I,
All
I,
right.
I, I don't know that
All
that is
right.
not true.
Wow.
I think sometimes talk
All right.
does win. Sometimes it does speak things into existence. I know for me, I was very confident about Manchester United beating
All right,
Arsenal. I
Philip.
saying that for over a week that we would be the first team to give Arsenal the first
Remember I
defeat.
say Spurs leaving with something. It's either leaving with a point or 3 points. They're not losing that game for
Um,
sure, for sure.
I think let me make my prediction. Both of you all make yours. Let me make my prediction. I will pick a draw. Right? You, Dr. Zeus,
My man.
Dr. Zeus picks Spurs.
Why you gotta play diplomatic for?
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
and,
Start
and,
after
and Devin
peas,
Devin
after
picks
peas,
City.
pick your.
So I am going for a 2-all draw.
I
I'm
wait.
expecting
All right,
both Harry
Switzerland.
Kane.
Okay, Switzerland over there.
I expecting both Harry Kane and Haaland to get on the score sheet.
Oh,
That is
you're not gonna make an even bolder prediction. You know? Haaland and go and score. You know. Oh,
Don't tell that to fantasy owners, you know.
oh. Haaland and going and score. You know.
Do not
Boy,
say that to fantasy owners right now.
if I have to eat my words, I eat my words. But Haaland, Haaland and go score.
well, I know
That go be
if
hurtful.
Hoiberg have anything to say about it,
Well, Romero like to
Haaland
pull
will
here
score.
too,
But we'll
so
see how that goes.
the guy just pull off your blonde hair. That's all. Romero just pull off your blonde hair, and that's the end of that. But there's definitely gonna be an interesting game. Definitely, I definitely want to watch that game and see if I come out a City jersey or come here and tell Mr. Philip, I told you so. I told you so. Exactly. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
We're looking forward. We're looking forward to the show next week, Sunday. Guys, remember, like if you are new to the channels, please subscribe, support what we're doing here at the United Hour. We've got some fantasy football content for you all. Most likely that fantasy show will be on Tuesday. So look out for that. It doesn't matter if Haaland scores or not, City will win. Well, for anybody who doesn't know, Martin Philip is a Manchester City fan, so we would expect him to say nothing less. But I don't see any of those teams keeping a clean sheet. So that's why I'm going with a draw. So let's see how that goes.
If City wins,
And
something may come up. I might have something to attend to if City wins. So I just
so people, next week Sunday and not necessarily Sunday, whenever the game week ends, look out for the EPL Rewind. We're always going to be here to recap all the events of the day. Thank you for being part of the program. Stay up, enjoy the rest of your weekend.
yeah, folks. Have a good one.
Support the United Hour. Click that like button and subscribe.